Today I'll be reviewing the Deity S-MIC2, and before we start, I'd like to thank Deity Asia for loaning me this copy of the microphone. I'm Richard, welcome to Zappy Productions, and today we'll be reviewing the S-MIC2 by Deity. This microphone is about $360 USD, and I'll be comparing with the NTG4 Plus, which is very similar in pricing in the US. In Singapore itself, the S-MIC2 is slightly more expensive than the NTG4 Plus, so that is something to note. Now, the S-MIC2 is a really nice mic, and if you ask me in terms of build quality, it is top-notch. In fact, Deity claims to be water resistance and shock resistance, and it can even suffer a little bit of rain and it won't die off. You can drop it on the ground and probably survive it. Compared to something like I hold in my hand now, the MKH416, it seems to be as well built, if not slightly well built, better built than this MKH itself. It is a little bit heavy though, about 20 grams heavier than the MKH416, about 190 plus grams. So that is something to note. It is one of the heavier shotgun mics out there. But in terms of sound quality wise, so far I heard it's pretty okay. Now, the mic is of course a shotgun super cardioid microphone, so it's meant to pick up most of the sound from the front and reject the sound from the side. And not only that, it has a relatively flat response throughout. Now, the S-MIC2 has no switches, so no low pass, no high pass. Now, so if you want a little bit of high pass functionality to boom this microphone, you will probably need to activate it in your recorder itself. The microphone itself, if you ask me, sounds pretty okay as you can hear so far. The frequency is quite flat and nice. But let's do our proper test so that we can know how it differs from the NTG4 Plus. Now, as usual, my test is indoors, which will include all the off-axis tests, tests for ambient noise, simulated traffic sound, and then close-up, voiceover, pop test 2 feet away. I'll be doing additional tests for this microphone. I'll be doing one in a very echoey room, so that's one test, and then I'll be bringing it outdoors and we will try out the sound outdoors on the street and how does it reject sound from the surrounding. Of course, during those street tests, I'll be using it like I'll say as something like a vlogging mic, which should not be, but it gives you a good feel of how it feels like if you are using it outdoors and moving around. Now, without wasting time, let's do our first test, which is the off-axis test. So currently I'm on axis, so let me move off-axis. Rather than counting 1 to 5 for both sides, which I tried on the last few times, I will just shift 30 degrees to let you guys hear how it sounds like. So this is from the side of the microphone. This is from the side of the microphone, for one side of the microphone. Now, the microphones are not together, so I will do it on the other side too to have a more fair comparison between both of these microphones. Now, this is from the other side of the microphone. As I say again, the microphones are not like 100% together. There is a distance between them. So this is to allow you to really hear how does it sound from this side of the microphone. Now, this is of course in the center again, and then pretty much you can hear the slight off-axis test. Now, I also do one more from the total side of it to let you guys hear. Okay, so this is the total side of the microphone. So you can actually hear how it sounds like between both of these microphones, so you get a rough understanding of the microphones themselves. I will not do the other side because this is totally 90 degrees, so should not have any issues and differences between both of these microphones themselves. Okay, so pretty much this is how it sounds like. So now on the traffic sound. So now this is the traffic sound test. This is to see and hear how does my voice stand up above the traffic itself. I'm speaking normally, not any louder than normal. So you guys can roughly hear how it sounds like for both of these microphones, how they compare if there was a traffic sound to the left. Now, my room is treated, so most of the sound just comes from the left. There is not much echo that goes around this room itself. So, you get a relatively good comparison. Now, I'll keep quiet for the next 10 seconds to let you guys hear how does the mic sound like in terms of traffic rejection from the speakers themselves. That's about 10 seconds, so roughly you guys have heard how does both of these microphones sound like in terms of traffic rejection from the side. So next thing I'll do is on room tone, and this will also see whether the microphone themselves has a relatively high or low self noise, and you guys can hear how it sounds like for the next 10 seconds. Okay, that's pretty much it for the room tone test. The next test I'm going to do is a voice over, so I'll move very close to the microphone now. So now I'm about 1 inch away, rather than just now the last few tests I was about 6 inches away or 7 inches away. So I'm just 1 inch away from both of these microphones, so you guys can hear roughly how does both of these microphones sound when somebody is about 1 inch away. Now this is a voice over position, and this is quite popular with the MKH416, so let you guys hear how it sounds like from this position itself. The next thing I'll do is the pop test. Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled peppers. 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 So you guys hear how it pops. So that is pretty much the pop test. The next test to do will be 2 feet away, and let us hear how it sounds like when you are about 2 feet away and the pickup itself. So now I'm slightly more than 1 arm's length away. This is about 2 feet. So let you guys hear how it sounds like when you are a little bit more further away, and this is actually a more appropriate position if you're going to use this microphone in most situations. Now, once again, this is a treated room, so the amount of echo is lesser, but there are still walls that will reflect a bit of sound, so it will not be very optimal still if you are about 2 feet away from the microphone in terms of sound quality. And my voice personally doesn't sound so good. I noticed that if I move further away, it sounds worse. So that's something to note. Now, as usual, I will do an off-axis test from about this distance to let you guys hear. So this is off-axis itself, so let you guys hear how it sounds like when you are off-axis from the microphone, and I'm off-axis to the left side of both of these microphones now to let you guys hear when you are not in the sweet spot of the shotgun microphone. I'll move the other side so there is a fair comparison. Now I'm the other side of the off-axis of both microphones, so you guys can hear for this comparison between the NTG4 Plus and the S-MIC2. So you guys know how it sounds like when you're off-axis from the other direction. Once again, both of these mics are not like together. As such, there is of course variance when you're on left side or right side, so just calculate in your mind which is a better mic for off-axis itself. And that is about it for all the indoor tests. The next test we will do is when I move to the living room, followed by an outdoor test. Then I have a little bit of concluding thoughts at the back, and I will see you then in the next few seconds outdoors. This is my living room, and I'm actually comparing both the NTG4 Plus and the S-MIC2, and you can see they are something about 7 inches away from me. I just purposely put them slightly in the frame, as you can see here, so you roughly can tell that this is how they sound like in the living room. This is my living room. It has a very close wall, as you can hear. Here there's a wall. There's a wall here. So there's 2 walls side and back of me, and then this is a really low ceiling, about I think 2.3 meters, and then it's hard ground below. So this is actually how it sounds like in a very untreated room, especially like say in Singapore, because the rooms are here are a little bit small here. Now obviously if you go to the office and stuff, it will be better. Firstly, there's usually carpeted floor, or maybe walls are not that close, but this is what you expect if you are in a untreated room and you visit a person's house to record audio. Now this is not the worst one. The worst one will be the next one, which is in the enclosed space of a lift. You can hear it there in the next segment. And for now, this is the end of the living room segment. After this segment, however, all of the recordings will only be for the S-MIC2, because I can't bring both mics around and walk around the whole neighborhood. So pretty much this is the last time I will do a comparison between both of them. Now this is a test in the ultra enclosed area. This is actually inside of a lift, so you can hear how it actually works in a very enclosed area and how it sounds like. Now this is a mic test outdoor with the S-MIC2 and the EOS R5. So I'm actually doing an outdoor test of the microphone, and this is how it sounds like. The microphone is about 8 inches away from me, and then there is the road to this side of the place. Quite a lot of cars are passing by me, as you can hear, so it'll give you a good gauge of how this mic will work out in the place where traffic is passing by and there are people walking in front of me. So this is how it sounds like outdoors. I hope you enjoy this. I mean, really, this is how you'll probably work out if you were to try to use this mic outdoors with the traffic to the right. And that's about it. Hope you enjoy this, and let's see whether it will sound better. I don't think so, but that's how it sounds like outdoors with the S-MIC2 by Deity. So really, the Deity S-MIC2, as you heard so far, is really nice. I mean, there wasn't a single category that I felt lost out to the NTG4. You know, in the off-axis test, it sounded nicer. It just sounded slightly louder though, but it did definitely sound nicer than the NTG4 Plus. The overall sound I felt had more body, had more it felt more full than the NTG4 Plus. The NTG4 Plus had this really weird metallic sound to me. And in almost every other test, I just felt that the S-MIC2 just sounded more pleasant, and really, that's about it. I mean, even the noise floor and stuff is very similar. For every category that the S-MIC2 wasn't better, it wasn't any worse off. But if not, the sound quality of the S-MIC2 definitely is, if you ask me, nicer than the NTG4 Plus. And if you're going to spend 400 or 600 Sing dollars, or maybe in the 400 USD, 300 to 400 USD, I would definitely recommend you get the S-MIC2 over the NTG4 Plus, really. Unless you need the internal battery module and then use a XLR to a 3.5 pin and power it using your DSLRs. But if not, if you're having an XLR connection, definitely get the S-MIC2. And before we end, let me try out something, a special comparison, just before we end this review itself. Okay, so I'm back in my living room again, and just to close off this whole review, this is a test with the most expensive shotgun mic you can probably get. This is the CMIT 5U by Schopes, and I'm comparing it with the S-MIC2. You can see this blue color mic at this corner here. That is the CMIT 5U by Schopes itself. So I'm just doing this for fun to let you guys hear what's the difference between a mid-range mic and a very high-end mic in an enclosed area. This is once again my living room, and I'm just trying it out to let you guys hear how it sounds like. I mean, the NTG4 wasn't that great compared to the S-MIC2. The S-MIC2 was really pleasing, but how does it stand up against the CMIT 5U? And that is for you guys to hear, and I end my review here. Till the next mic review, probably the S-MIC2S. Till then, bye. And once again, I'd like to thank Deity Singapore, Deity Asia to be exact, for loaning me this copy of the mic, and I really thank them for helping me out for this review. Bye.